Stir Crazy Productions, baby.
What's good? Matthew Shack from Stir Crazy Productions. You know what it is. It's Motivation Monday, man. It's funny how all the things that you've learned in your life, there'll come times when things are tested in your rationale to find out whether or not you really have a firm grasp on it or if you are truly a believer in it. And this was one of those weeks where I was tested in some of my ideology. And that's when you really know that you learned something, that you really have retained that information. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's topic. And today's topic is, when you're looking for a helping hand, the best place to look is at the end of your own arm. When you're looking for a helping hand, the best place to look is at the end of your own arm. Now, let me tell you, I hate to say that it's self-explanatory, man, but what else can I say? You know, it's pretty obvious what I mean. But it's all about the application, man. Without that, it's just words. It's just a concept. It's just a phrase. It's just a saying, you know. So let me put it to you in these terms. Some of the best help that you will ever get will be from yourself, will be from your own doing, will be from you pulling yourself from your own bootstraps, you know, because who is going to be, more apt to react in a fashion that is applicable, or who's going to be able to move as quickly as you need for things to move? Most of the time, hey, if you need a ride, let's just use it for example. If you need to get a ride, say your car, you got to get somewhere and you don't have a car. You have to call somebody, say, hey, can you pick me up and take me over here? Is that better than you picking up your keys and walking outside and getting your car and starting it up and leaving right then? No. Okay. But there is times where you have to rely on other people, But if someone's helping you, you can't dictate the terms of their help. You might need $20 and they only can give you 10. You may need a ride, 2 miles, and they only can ride you a block. So your best bet is to not have yourself in the situation where you need assistance. If you are in a position where you need assistance, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as, that's your only recourse. So the best policy is to get that helping hand that's on the end of your own arm. You know what I'm saying? God helps those who help themselves, or, and all that. God bless the child who has his own, and all that stuff. So the main thing is for you to understand that, man, ain't nothing better than helping yourself. And that is something that I've been doing quite lately for myself. Just can't rely on folks like I want to. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes I just want to be able to just have somebody help me do something, or assist me in doing something, or be a part of what I'm doing, or be a part of a team. I've always wanted to just be a part of a nice team, like just be a person in the background, one of the many people who are a part of this organization and doing things. But man, it never happened like that, man, because nobody that I met up until maybe about 10 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, as far as business, had the same motor I had the same drive and determination I had. So I'm fortunate to have that now, but I didn't always have that. And I can't always have that person who they know who they are. Can't always have that person be there to help me assist in things that I want to do, because some of the things that I know how to do or interested in doing is not in that person's skill set. So I have to, skate on my own with that. So self-help, man. Don't sit here waiting for somebody to help you. Pull yourself up from your own bootstraps. Get yourself up. Fall down 9 times, you get up 10 times. It might not seem like that's too much motivation, but nothing is less motivating than looking at the floor from eye level. You want to be standing on your own too, and being the man or woman that you are capable of being. Find that inner strength, whatever it is you got to do to make that happen. I always have a story. There's people who, once people reach a certain element of success, they just automatically, a lot of people automatically think that these people it just happened that way. There wasn't really a sacrifice, because people look at the end result and don't look at, the full Monty in regards to how it was put together. So I'm gonna use Sylvester Stallone as an example. Everybody knows Rocky, man. I mean, he's had so many Rocky movies, he can keep going if he wanted to. But I'm not talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 422, or whatever number he's on now. I'm talking about the first one. First one is always the hardest. And, hindsight's 2020, you would think that movie was going to be a hit from jump. Didn't happen like that, man. Sylvester Stallone was broke. He said he had like about $100 in his pocket. Didn't have any money. Was not a very successful actor. And he said, you know what, man? For me to finally get the role that I always wanted to play, I'm going to have to write my own screenplay. So he sat down, and he was getting ready to write this screenplay, but he was like, you know what? I got a little bit of money in my pocket. Just like anybody else, it was his birthday. It was his 29th birthday. On his 29th birthday, he said, I'm going to write myself something. I can't afford a birthday present for myself, so I'm going to write myself a screenplay. But before that happened, he said, well, I'm going to take this little bit of money I got. It's my birthday. I don't have nobody to kick it with. I'm going to go to the closed circuit television spot and watch Muhammad Ali versus Chuck Wepner. Chuck Wepner was pretty much a nobody guy who Ali was going to give a chance to fight. So he's like, I'm going to go spend my little bit of money. It's my birthday, and I'm just going to go watch this fight. So we went and watched the Chuck Wepner fight with Muhammad Ali, who was on top of his game, who was the heavyweight champion, the greatest. And of course, Ali was just beating this guy senseless. But no matter what Ali did, the guy's face was mush, was bleeding, looking like a piece of meat. That guy would not allow Ali to knock him out. And he went the full 15 rounds, didn't get knocked out, man. So he lost definitively. But no matter what Ali did, that guy was like, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to let myself get knocked out. I'm going to sit in here and I'm going to try to fight. And he put up a good fight for somebody who was an oil can, you know what I'm saying? But you know, tomato can. But he didn't win the fight, but he won a lot of respect. So Sylvester Stallone took that story and went home and wrote around 90 pages and created Rocky based on that fight he had saw on his 29th birthday with no money in his pocket. Wrote that script. Now, if I was to stop there, you'd think, oh, that's an amazing story, man. That's an amazing story. But it's not how life works, man. You know, just because you have an idea doesn't mean that it's going to be successful. You got to find that helping hand on the end of your arm, you know, of your own arm. So he started, you know, wrote the script, didn't really have nobody to give it to. So he met some guys, a couple of guys that were, you know, producers, because he went to an audition and they started talking and he said, yeah, you know, I got a couple of things I wrote. And they're like, you know, send it by, you know, just check it out, you know. Checked it out and like, hey, man, we like this. He's like, so what, you know, how much for the script? So Sylvester Stallone, he was broke, you know, and he even, you know, contemplated selling his dog. You know, he had a dog and he needed some money. So he was like, they were like, we'll give you $10,000 for it. Or the studio, United Artists, will give him $10,000. It was a lot of money back in 1976. You know what I'm saying? Still a lot of money for somebody who don't have any. So what happened was he's like, as much as I wanted that money, I knew that I had to play the part. I knew I would kill myself if somebody else would take this role and become successful on it. I have to see this all the way through. But, you know, the movie studio was like, hey, we'll give you $50,000. Hey, we'll give you $100,000. You know, the money just kept going up because they didn't want no unknown actor to be put in this movie. They had James Caan from Godfather. They had Robert Redford. They had Paul Newman in mind. They had some blockbusters, you know, people who people were standing in line to see. Eventually, the money got all the way up to $333,000 offer for Sylvester Stallone to give up the screenplay. But he held his ground. Even though he didn't have no money, he held his ground. And he's like, man, I gotta be in this. So the producers went back to the studio and said, yeah, you know, he really wants to have a chance to, you know, to try to do this. They had a $2 million budget. But they said, okay, check this out. If he does it, we're only going to give him $1 million to do the whole movie. We're going to cut it in half. And you guys are fiscally responsible for any cost overruns. Now, if you know anything about the entertainment industry, cost overruns are always something that happens. But they didn't have any belief in Sylvester Stallone. None, zero. They're like, okay, we're going to give you $1 million. You guys do what you do. If it goes a cent over that, you guys paying for it. Stallone's like, okay. I got my one chance. You know, I got my helping hand from my own arm. They went in and made the movie on a shoestring budget. Shot it in 28 days. That movie was shot in 28 days, man. And they didn't have permits. They were just jumping out of vans and just shooting on the run and just all kinds of stuff, man. You would think that movie was shot, you know, in an excellent fashion, but it was just basically just shot however they could shoot it. They couldn't even get the top-notch actors who we see today as being icons in that film. They couldn't get who they wanted. Talia Shire, Carl Weathers, Burgess Meredith. Them people weren't people that they were trying to get. Those are who they could afford. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? The scene that had Rocky and Adrian, and they were in the skating rink, and they were skating in there. It was a very poignant scene. Turned out to be very great. Their first date, They were supposed to have 300 extras in there. When they came to shoot, they said, Sylvester, we can't, we're going to have a change of plans because we can't afford to pay the 300 extras to be in here. So we just going to have to shoot this after hours. So all that happened. When the movie debuted, he went to, so Stallone went to the premiere with his mother. And he said, well, Ma, this is going to be probably the last time I ever do anything because once they see this, I'm done. That movie was a hit. $1.1 million budget. Oh, and they went over budget. The two producers had to mortgage their houses to pay the extra $100,000, just to let you know. Okay? Went on to make $225 million at the box office and win the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1976. The rest is history. So, I'm saying all of that to say this. When you're looking for a helping hand, the best place to look is at the end of your own arm. You got 5 chances. Use them wisely.
Stir Crazy Productions, baby.